Absolute stillness. Water's skin holds tight. Then, the shatter. A sudden, catastrophic explosion of kinetic energy. 1,000 kilograms of submerged apex armor erupts from the turbid void, anchoring conical teeth into yielding flesh. The transition from absolute zero momentum to maximum velocity is instantaneous, ruthless, and entirely absolute. There is no conventional struggle. Only the rapid geometric conversion of living mass into an unstoppable longitudinal axis spin. Bone splinters, tendons snap under the pressure. The vacuum howls. A vortex of mud and blood spirals violently outward. The immense rotational torque shears through thick muscle fibers, severing the limb through pure, unadulterated centrifugal force. This is the pinnacle of biological violence rendered as a mathematical equation. We are witnessing the kinetic guillotine in its most terrifying and pristine form, where applied physics brutally overrides the structural integrity of mammalian anatomy. Rewind to the agonizing, suffocating calm that precedes the violent kinetic transfer. This is the sun-scorched, turbid expanse of the Mara River in sub-Saharan Africa, a stagnant crucible where the biological necessity of hydration inevitably collides with ancient aquatic predation. A vast herd of wildebeest hesitates at the muddy precipice. The blinding heat shimmer distorts their dark silhouettes, masking nervous, twitching muscles and the desperate panting of extreme dehydration. Hooves sinking deep into wet earth, nostrils flaring wide. Every movement is dictated by the oppressive atmosphere. The suffocating drone of cicadas vibrates against the heavy, sluggish fluid dynamics of the river, pushing a thick layer of silty mud steadily against the collapsing, eroded banks. They lower their heads to the dark water. It is a calculated gamble against an invisible executioner, a necessary flirtation with death just to quench a fatal, burning thirst. One sip. 2 sips. The herd breathes as one. Beneath the bleached white glare of the liquid surface, a prehistoric anomaly rests in the light-devouring blackness. It does not swim. It merely allows the dense aquatic currents to dictate its silent, imperceptible drift toward the vulnerable targets. It is a masterclass in psychological attrition. The predator suppresses its own biological rhythms, becoming entirely indistinguishable from the submerged detritus, patiently awaiting a singular, fatal misstep. No ripples on the glass, no breath, just waiting. To fully comprehend the sheer mechanical genius of this kinetic guillotine, we must first examine a profound physiological deficit. The Crocodylus niloticus possesses a devastating bite force, yet it entirely lacks the anatomical capacity to masticate its prey. 84 massive, conical teeth line the muscular jaws. They are not serrated blades meant for slicing, but rather unyielding, interlocking iron spikes designed exclusively for a flawless anchor. A permanent lock, not a blade, just a prison. Evolution demanded a drastic biomechanical workaround to process large ungulate mass without the ability to chew. The solution is applied physics, outsourcing the complex act of dismemberment entirely to the relentless, unforgiving laws of centrifugal force. The predator utilizes its massive buoyancy and dense core musculature to initiate a violent, rapid spin. By rotating on its longitudinal axis, it weaponizes its own sheer body weight. Flesh becomes the pivot point. The river becomes the saw. This is the death roll. It forces the captured prey's skeletal structure to bear the absolute entirety of the rotational torque. twisting the biological material until the sheer mathematical stress inevitably exceeds the anatomical limits of bone. The jaws do not cut. They simply hold the victim in a terrifying, inescapable stasis, while the spinning kinetic mass of the reptilian body literally tears the members apart. Holding the center, letting physics do the brutal. Observe the execution once more, now suspended in frictionless, hypnotic slow motion. What initially appears as chaotic, splashing brutality in real time is clinically revealed to be a sterile, awe-inspiring display of flawlessly calculated mechanical engineering. The jaws clamp shut with a wet, hydraulic snap, displacing massive volumes of water. Instantly, the heavy armored tail acts as a weighted pendulum, driving the sickening, uninterrupted rotation. Slow, deliberate destruction. A ballet of pure, crushing torque. A deep, subaudible infrasound rumbles through the liquid medium, vibrating the very chest cavity of the observer. We are listening to the precise moment where biological elasticity is fundamentally overwhelmed by sheer, unyielding mechanical leverage. Ligaments stretch beyond their tearing threshold. Cartilage groans under the twisting pressure. A terrifying, resonant crack echoes through the dark water as structural integrity spectacularly and decisively fails. The joint pops. The marrow splits. The separation begins. The rotational velocity ceases exactly as abruptly as it began, leaving behind a sudden, chilling stillness in the turbid shallows. The massive kinetic energy has been successfully transferred, and the brutal biological objective is now complete. The severed limb is swallowed whole. The water clouds with a thick crimson hue, settling heavily into the mud as the rhythmic, industrial, slowing heartbeat of the struggle fades away. The surface smooths over. The violence sinks out of sight. We must pull back from this microscopic violence to comprehend the wider thermodynamic reality. This rotational dismemberment is not an act of malice. It is a mandatory, highly efficient energy transfer necessary for survival. The remnants of the kinetic trauma sink slowly into the murky depths, feeding a complex, invisible web of aquatic scavengers and opportunistic microorganisms waiting below. The river absorbs the sacrifice. Nothing here goes to waste. There is a profound, terrifying beauty in biological mechanisms that reach their evolutionary zenith and simply stop changing. The death roll stands as a testament to the brutal pragmatism of prehistoric natural engineering. It is an ancient, organic guillotine, waiting silently in the shallows. A flawless sequence of physics that has remained unchallenged beneath the African sun for millions of years. Perfect physics. Eternal stillness. Watch your step.